Hello and welcome to A Build a Day, episode 22. As promised, we are again back in the village and we're doing the churchyard today. This build was, it was quite fun actually. Quite simple, but it took a lot longer than I was expecting actually. And I think it's down to, how much I did, because I did a lot of environmental stuff as well. So the first thing I sort of did, I was like, well, let's connect the path to the church, right? Let's get a way of, putting people inside the church. And then I knew I wanted it on this sort of flat area that we're going towards now. So I put a path around the side of the church, and then sort of at some point I realized that I wanted a wall going around it, and that then meant I could sort of have an idea of how big it would be. And while I don't necessarily think it was big enough for the size of the village that it's probably going to turn out to be, I think it was a good size for Minecraft scale. If this was real life, it would have probably taken up the entire flat bit behind the church as well, up to sort of where the hill starts rising again. So I knew I didn't want to take up that much space, and doing that would have taken a long time. But yeah, the response on the past couple videos, I don't know what happened to the Watchtower video actually, because when I recorded yesterday's video, that thing had 3 views. It now has 43. What? I'm very confused as to where 40 views came from. I'm not complaining, but I'm confused. I did like that build though, so that was pretty good. And then we got a few comments on the church build. They were all really supportive, which is, it's great. I love you guys' support and stuff. Really helps out the channel as well, commenting. So, but yeah, the response has been great. I've got a few ideas in mind. So I'm pretty sure we're going to do some builds underneath the church, built into the side of the hill, because I think, again, it'll add a bit of character, and give it a sort of what's known as a sense of place, which I've learned from playing City Skylines, which is a city building game and stuff. It's like sort of SimCity, but I wouldn't say more realistic, but it's a really cool game. It got a really great community. But one of the things that you want to do when building a city or a town or a village is you want to give it something unique, something that doesn't make it feel generic. Because if it feels generic, it feels boring, and then you sort of lose interest in it. So adding something like buildings built into the side of a hill can add like a bit of like uniqueness. It's like, not every town has that, not every village has that. It's pretty cool. So I think we're going to do that. And I've also been playing a lot of Civilization, both 6 and 5. And one of the things that sort of got me thinking about was farms, because in Civ 5 I'm playing a game and I basically filled everything with farms, and then that got me thinking back to Lord of the Rings randomly, and how Minas Tirith has no farms outside of it, despite the fact that it's a massive city. And then that got me thinking about Fwip and how he, in every single episode of his hardcore world, builds another field. And then I was like, I can combine all of these ideas into the village. I can build farmland around the outskirts with like pastures for horses and sheep and various other animals, and we can add like a logging area and stuff. And then I have, I've got loads of ideas, loads of inspiration. The next few videos should be pretty good. Going to be planning a lot of the village. Going to be building a couple of the buildings underneath the church. And maybe, if I get round to it, we might be doing some interiors, because at the moment, none of the buildings have interiors. They've got bits of interiors, like they've got all the interior walls, the ceilings, etc. But and I think the blacksmith, I think that the attic has an interior, but the rest of the house doesn't, apart from a ladder going up. So we'll do some interiors, and I can explain sort of more of my thought process going through all of that. But anyway, I've talked over half of the build, and I have not talked about how I've done it. So basically, I'm sure you saw I built the wall. We added stairs, slabs, basically just make it look as ruined and messed up as possible. And then I finished up the path, added some graves and stuff, various different heights, added a couple trees, added some foliage around the wall, and then I realised, oh yeah, I need to texture the graves and the walls. Not very smart on my part. I should have done that before I started decorating, but oh well, you live and you learn, I guess. So we did that, and then I'm adding some more sort of, I guess, important, I don't really want to say important, more prominent graves. They're like people who are important to the city, to the place, and had a important role, like I don't know, maybe like a mayor or somebody important. So they have more prominent graves overlooking the rest of the village, and then I sort of started decorating the side of that hill there. Loads of alliums. I wanted to add colour into this build because it's one of the things that I find, especially in funerals, is there's a distinct lack of colour in Western funerals, because we're sad during funerals. But if you go to like somewhere like Ghana, you're going to get loads of colours, loads of music, sort of towards the last day of the funeral. They have 3 days of funerals. It's really interesting. If you're interested in any of that, I would highly recommend getting some research in on that, because it's so interesting. It's really cool. Just another tree, some bushes along the side of the path. And here we go. The video has ended. Enjoy the cinematics, and I will see you tomorrow.